sheriff's deputies investigate a security threat at a Lee County school. NBC2 is live from campus.
Our team is not going to tolerate it. Our children will be safe in this county.
18 child predators busted. Why the Lee County undersheriff says to expect even more arrests.
Plus, following the high school shooting in Texas, a company is pitching new technology to save lives.
And one Florida group captures their 1,000th python. Ahead, we take you to their celebration.
But first, we just cannot shake the clouds as we take a live look here from the top of the Diamond Head Resort on Fort Myers Beach. Still a fairly cloudy sky in place, but as of right now, not a whole lot of rainforest to track with the region's one and only live Doppler radar. You'll notice over the Fort Myers and Cape Coral area, nothing major for us to track, as right now all the more substantial rain is out by Lake Okeechobee. Now, these showers that are down to the south of the Clewiston area are moving more toward the northwest, so inside the next half an hour, communities near Clewiston can expect some light to at times moderate rain as these cluster of showers, if you will, continue to lift toward the northwest. There is an awful lot for us to talk about today as we direct our attention down toward the Caribbean Sea and this massive clouds, if you will, the Hurricane Center is watching. What you can expect in 15 minutes, analysis on today's weather forecast, and in 45 minutes, we're going to spend the entire weather segment talking all about the tropics and give you a bit more analysis and some context as to why the Hurricane Center is watching that cluster of clouds down in the Caribbean Sea.
And it's not even hurricane season officially yet. Rob, we'll see you again in a few minutes. Breaking news this morning, investigators call a threat aimed at a Lee County High School unfounded.
Yeah, the principal at Lehigh Senior High School says that Monday administrators learned of a comment made by a student on social media.
NBC2's Julianne Dell is live at 11 outside the school with an update now from the sheriff's office.
Well, we just found out that the student who made that threat was not arrested. Again, it was deemed to be unfounded, but there was a lot of concern from students and families after that inappropriate comment made the rounds on social media. Now, the exact comment hasn't been revealed to us, but the school's principal tells me that it was a threat to Lehigh Senior High School. She said she was made aware of it by students who alerted her and other staff members. The sheriff's office and the school immediately investigated, and again, we're told that the threat was unfounded. Principal Corey sent a message to parents this morning to let them know what happened and to thank students for reaching out. She says that this shows how important it is for students to say something when they see or hear something.
When we hear of a situation that's alarming, whether it's spoken or in social media, we need to be able to have that opportunity to look into it so that we can address it.
Now, Corey stresses that student safety is their #1 priority and that the school and the students here today are safe. Reporting live in Lehigh Acres, Julianne Dell, NBC2.
All right, Julianne, looking ahead a few hours from now, Cape Coral city leaders are considering building a new sports complex. It's going to be talked about at their meeting this afternoon. The city says the population has really grown and they haven't built new athletic facilities in more than a decade. Plans include adding a football and soccer field with tracks, bleachers, lights, and also a baseball and softball diamond. Also, 8 hard courts for tennis players. It is expected to cost about $10 million. Again, that meeting gets underway at 4:30 today.
18 men accused of using social media to lure kids for sex off the streets of Southwest Florida. Christina Carilla is following this big break for the community. Christina.
Lee County deputies are calling the bust Operation Picket Fence. They say the men came from all over the state of Florida to here in Lee County. After months of planning with a dozen agencies, Lee County deputies began the sting last Wednesday on chat rooms and social media apps. In just 5 days, 18 people busted trying to meet with undercover detectives they thought were minors.
We will combat predators who target our children. They will be arrested and they will be put behind bars where they belong.
Since 2012, 100 people have been arrested in similar operations all throughout Lee County. And just this past Sunday night, our cameras were there when one of the men was busted near the shell factory in North Fort Myers. Now investigators say they expect even more arrests. Christina Carilla, NBC2.
It's 11:04. Hello from the Alert Center. I'm Stacey Deffenbaugh here monitoring the 16 feeds I do each and every day. 2 of them here. You can't miss. Chuck, let's show them. Sat 30 here. Look at that. It's just incredible here. That lava spews are intensifying in Hawaii. Dramatic, incredible images here capture it all. Shooting out of these craters here and flowing lava from that Kilauea volcano reaching the ocean. Now, there are some concerns today about a toxic steam being formed. The lava and the toxic gas are forcing evacuations and keeping people on high alert. Officials are saying it could be months before there's any sense of normalcy here.
Definitely a dangerous situation, but truly incredible images. Thank you, Stacy. Well, NBC2 has found court records showing nearly 100 roosters found abused and bloody in North Fort Myers will be humanely euthanized. Lee County agencies say that they don't have the space or money to provide long-time care for the birds. Well, deputies discovered a cockfighting ring at a home Michael Rivera rents back in April. He turned himself into deputies on Saturday. Deputies also found inside that home spurs, syringes, and vitamins. Some people in the area are outraged, saying Rivera needs to get the maximum sentence.
He needs to get a really stiff sentence. They have to have a lot of better laws for these animals.
People don't know any better, they're going to do it.
Rivera is out on bond. His next court date is scheduled for June.
An attack involving goats and dogs pits neighbor against neighbor, and today Domestic Animal Services is on this case. A man in Lee County's Buckingham community says 3 dogs escaped their outdoor kennels and attacked several of his goats. Well, he responded by shooting the dogs, insisting he simply wanted to protect his pets. The dog's owner tells a much different story, calling the man a monster on Facebook.
The NAACP not backing down after Fort Myers City Council decided to take no action to remove the statue of Robert E. Lee. Now members of the group say a big rally is being planned for next month. The NAACP says that the statue, it's a negative part of U.S. history based off of slavery. Now, after last night's decision, Councilman Johnny Streets and Tara Lynn Watson are asking the city attorney to come up with a compromise.
In order to get to some solutions, the county and the city has got to work together.
I do think that if they take it down and put it somewhere where people can really learn from it, that would be a great compromise.
NBC2 knows that the president of the NAACP has asked the city to shut down Monroe Street for next month's big event. They still have to apply for permits. We'll let you know if it gets approved.
Right now, a manhunt is underway for at least one suspected cop killer near the city of Baltimore. Police say a female officer was gunned down after responding to an emergency call Monday afternoon. Police are now searching for suspects and investigating the officer's death as a homicide. County police said it's unclear how the officer was injured, whether she was shot, run over, or both.
She would have been a 4-year veteran this July. She was doing her job today, responding to a call, encountered these suspects, and was critically injured from this altercation. And we're going to try to determine what exactly happened, how our officer lost her life.
The death of this officer is the first woman to die in the line of duty in Baltimore County police history.
New body camera video has been released of the shooting at the Trump National Doral Golf Club in Florida. Just really a chaotic scene. That officer shooting and ducking for cover when confronting accused gunman Jonathan Oddie at the resort on Friday. Now, we don't actually see Oddie in the video, but according to police, the 42-year-old entered the lobby early Friday morning, pointed his gun at several people, and shouted anti-Trump rhetoric. He was shot in the leg during the incident. Oddie is being held without bond. A bit of primate panic at a busy U.S. airport. A monkey managed to escape from its crate in the cargo hold at San Antonio International Airport. NBC's Willie Geist has the story.
There was just one monkey wandering around the airport cargo hold.
He's all the way over by the TSA office now.
But it took dozens of animal workers about an hour to capture the elusive guy.
If you envision what a baggage handling system looks like, it's a lot of belts and bars and it looks a little bit like a jungle, so he was having a pretty good time up there.
The rhesus macaque, named Dawkins, was confined to an area away from passengers, but he took his time checking out a conveyor belt. His flight started in Boston with a stopover in Chicago before landing in San Antonio, where he was headed to the Born Free Wildlife Refuge. It's unclear at what point in the journey the 10-year-old monkey made his escape or how he got out.
I can't say that we had a scenario specific to a monkey loose in baggage handling, but we do have an emergency management system that comes to life when anything like this happens.
In this case, that meant tranquilizing Dawkins so he could be safely captured and transported.
Something went wrong here, but some of that is the unpredictability when you have an animal that belongs in the wild and you put them in captivity.
Dawkins is safely at the refuge now and seems to be handling the stress better than the humans did.
I'll just be very candid and say this is not a possibility that we planned for.
That was Willie Geist with that report, and we are happy to report that Dawkins arrived safely at his new home. The folks at the Primate Sanctuary say that he's a little tired, but he's in good condition.
Got another wild story here. So we're following a live event that's happening right now at 11 to celebrate a milestone. I want to show you a Facebook live feed. The guy on the left is a python hunter, and toward the left, bottom left, there's a white cooler with a really, really big snake in it. We're going to explain why his catch really matters.
And beware scammers posing as DirecTV, what you need to watch out for.
That snake is enormous. Our forecast today includes some showers and thunderstorms inland initially, but pushing back toward the coastline by this afternoon. We'll break down your first alert forecast in less than 5 minutes.
Happening right now at 11 o'clock, Florida is celebrating a milestone. 1,000 pythons taken out from the wild in South Florida. Water managers are broadcasting the weigh-in now live on Facebook. The Water District started a python elimination program in March of last year. Since then, hunters have stalked out dirt roads, trudged through wetlands, all in search of the elusive, evasive species. It's exotic. They're not supposed to be in South Florida. Biologists blame these pythons for really declining mammal populations in the wetlands, especially in Everglades National Park. Again, this is a Facebook live feed from South Florida Water Management District, where they're talking. The guy you see in the black shirt is the hunter who captured that 1,000 python. Let's listen in live while he talks to the media.
Yes. Thank you. Now I can take it off.
Looks like they just finished up their little briefing there. You know, Amanda and Rob, as we talk about weather and transition here, let's keep this feed up because I'm hoping we can get another glimpse of that snake. We caught it a couple of minutes ago. This is such a serious issue because the pythons that have been introduced to the wild in Florida are exotic. They're invasive, and they're really disrupting the food chain down in the Everglades.
You rambled off an interesting statement. There's something between 10,000 and 100,000 of these snakes in the Everglades.
Think about that range.
Jeez,
the biologists really can't pinpoint how many pythons are out there. He's talking about it. Can we listen in again, Chuck?
Snakes, you know, and you were telling me something that was really moving last time. I don't even know how long ago that was, but it hurts you a little bit inside every time you got to do this.
Yes, of course.
So take me through that.
You know, sometimes if I like to hunt with a friend because if we are successful, I mean, I don't like to have to, you know, put an animal down. You know, it's a beautiful creature. It's not their fault, but it's the job. You know, it has to be done, and I accepted it. You know.
What have you noticed? You know, you grew up in the Everglades. You know, lots of creatures. Have you noticed since you were a child? The amount of creatures in the Everglades versus now?
Drastic. There's nothing. You used to drive in the Everglades and you would see easily 20, 30, 40 rabbits on any given morning.
Okay, that's the point we were just talking about.
Yeah, and actually FWC has this like really neat kind of food pyramid of what a Burmese python eats, and it starts very on the bottom like mice, and it goes all the way up to deer and alligator. So when they get gigantic, they really do
eat
take a
everything.
dent.
They don't have any natural predators down there. So Rob Dunn's, take it away, sir. Transition to weather for us.
It's our climate here in South Florida that they love and why they're thriving so much, because we almost always have nice, warm, humid weather, as you see in this live look right now from South Seas Island Resort on the beautiful islands here off the coast of Lee County. Temperature-wise, it's mild and muggy as you'd expect. 81 currently in Fort Myers, 79 right now with our neighbors in Cape Coral, and that's also the air temperature in Lehigh Acres and toward the Bonita Springs area in South Lee County as well. Speaking of South Lee County, 41 between Estero and Bonita Springs is looking just fine, as most of cities west of the interstate are looking at a dry forecast here, at least over the next 2 to 3 hours. The most widespread areas of rain right now are hugging Lake Okeechobee back toward the Clewiston area. This is a small shower just to the south of Clewiston's pushing toward the northwest, so areas near Moorhaven and potentially toward LaBelle could see some rainfall here inside the next 2 hours. Our forecast this afternoon initially develops the most widespread coverage of showers and thunderstorms well inland to the east of Interstate 75, but notice after 2 o'clock how the rain opportunities start to migrate back toward the coastline. So this afternoon, basically between 2 o'clock and 7 o'clock, the window is open again for some areas of showers and downpours here in southwest Florida, and that does include areas to the west of Interstate 75. So Punta Gorda, Cape Coral, Bonita Springs, and Naples, all fair game for at least a little bit of rain here during the second half of the day today. Boating forecast looks fine the next few hours, of course, with some clouds. But bearing in mind, there could be some rain there this afternoon. Otherwise, southeast winds at 10 knots and just a light chop on the inland bays, rivers, and waterways. Big topic in the weather department and on social media has been what's trying to come together, perhaps, in the tropics down in the Caribbean Sea. Right now, as you can see on the tropical satellite, in this area to the south of Cuba, there's a big cluster of some showers and downpours, as evidenced by satellite pictures with a lot of cloud cover. The reason that we're watching this, and the reason the Hurricane Center is watching it as well, is because this massive clouds is forecast to basically flop into the Gulf of Mexico. When it does that, there is the chance here down the road of this system perhaps trying to organize a bit. Now, it's not anything we have to be super worried about in the short-term forecast. In fact, 2-day development odds are at 0%, so no concern in the 2-day. The 5-day outlook, though, has been raised to 40%, as according to the National Hurricane Center. Now, before anyone gets too worried about this, there's numerous roadblocks to any major development or any concern for Southwest Florida. At 11:45, we're going to walk through those roadblocks and show you what you can expect when it comes to some analysis and context to this potential tropical system down the road. We'll also break down some different forecast models and show you what looks most likely for Southwest Florida, because this is principally just a rain event for us, but it's unfortunate that it comes during the Memorial Day weekend holiday. So the forecast the next few days features a few peaks of sun and some afternoon showers and storms, but better coverage of rain thanks to the tropics as we get toward this weekend. Your complete tropical weather update at 11:45.
And Rob, here's a story out of New Mexico where weather is making headlines today. Heavy rain leading to flooding. One woman died, 5 people rescued. Ladders were lowered from overpasses so people could climb to higher ground. Officials say riverbanks and culverts are unstable and could pose major safety risk. And this is all that's left from a lot of rain in Broward County over the weekend. Look at that. Showers contributing to flooding in parts of Broward. Areas were so flooded that residents said it felt like a hurricane had swept across their neighborhood.
Well, efforts are underway to make sure neighborhoods in Lee County are prepared for this year's rainy season. Now, in Lehigh Acres, new wares opened in the southern sections, and others added remote operations so that they can be operated off-site. They also created a backup communication system since during Irma, the Lehigh Acres system failed. The county has also cleared drainage ditches in the Villas neighborhood in South Fort Myers. That area had lots of flooding last year. Now, to find out who's responsible for water runoff in your neighborhood, just go to NBC2.com. One Connecticut woman had a strange encounter. A bear jumped in her car and turned on the lights. So after noticing it, she quickly called 911. Police got that bear out of the car. Luckily, it ran straight into the woods, but this is how they believe the black bear got inside. It used the driver's side handle, which was damaged. And you can just see that car is just destroyed, and the woman's insurance company confirming it, saying that her car is totaled.
Yeah, not drivable. The Lee County Sheriff's Office is now investigating a DirecTV scam where one woman in Cape Coral says she thought she was getting a call from the company. The scammer even gave her a promotional code and a number to call asking for the first 3 months to be paid with an Amazon gift card. Well, she went so far as to buy a card, then trusted her gut and called DirecTV herself. DirecTV insists they will never call customers with promotional offers.
There are people out there my age and older who would think that this is a good deal and would go ahead and do it. I mean, how would they know they're not talking to DirecTV?
There is no legitimate business that is going to ask for you to send anything back in a gift card.
And while phone calls from phony numbers become more frequent, LCSO investigators remind us all, don't be afraid to ask questions and make sure you report it to police.
The United States Postal Service is releasing its first ever scratch and sniff stamps. The Frozen Treats Forever stamps will come out on June 20th in Austin, Texas. And the stamps will smell like a variety of frozen treats, just like your favorite popsicle. The stamps can be pre-ordered on the USPS website for delivery shortly again after June 20th.
Meanwhile, the Tampa Bay Lightning and Washington Capitals will go to Game 7 tomorrow night. The Capitals shut down the Bolts last night in a 3-0 win. Tomorrow's game is on Lightning home turf in Tampa. Puck drops at 8 o'clock.
A lot of exciting things come into Fort Myers Beach, like restaurant shops and a water park, when developers hope to break ground. That's next.
11:25 now on this Tuesday. Hello once again. I'm Stacey Defenbaugh from the Alert Center, continuing to monitor live feeds from all over the country. I want to draw your attention to Sat 24. Chuck, let's pull that up and show them at home what's happening. That is the Secretary of Education, Betsy DeVos, right now. She's answering questions in Washington, testifying in front of the House Education and Workforce Committee. The hearing is to set some policies and priorities for the Education Department. Specifically, before I join you, I was listening in, and the Congressman was asking about LGBT issues in schools and funding for special education. I'll continue to monitor for you from the Alert Center.
Developers will start designing a new resort-style hotel on Fort Myers Beach, so Town Council members voted unanimously to approve the scaled-down project on Monday. It was first pitched, though, 3 years ago by a Minnesota-based company, TPI Hospitality. The modified hotel will be built near the Matanzas Pass Bridge and is limited to 254 rooms. That is down from 290 originally. The new plan also reduces the height of one of the buildings by about 15 feet.
I welcome them to get involved. You know, it's time to turn the corner and start a new leaf and be a part of it. So I welcome them into the process.
Most residents at the meeting supported the scaled-down plans. Developers made the changes again after some people voiced their concerns that the project could add to the island's traffic troubles. If you've ever been on Fort Myers Beach, you know that traffic can get pretty congested. So developers will now spend the next several months in the design phase, working on that before breaking ground next summer.
What have we to lose by trying to work together?
They all stayed in their chairs for his speech. That had never happened in his career, and it meant a great deal to him.
He was once the Republican nominee for president, and now U.S. Senator John McCain's got a new book hitting store shelves today. It's called The Restless Wave. McCain's new book covers a lot of ground, including his run for the presidency, the Trump dossier, and his human rights issues that he's battled for. Longtime AIDS speechwriter and friend Mark Salter got a call from John McCain after his brain cancer diagnosis to talk about that book.
Right now, school leaders are trying to come up with ways to make campuses safer. NBC2 reveals new high-tech ideas to alert everyone faster in the case of an active shooter.
And local deputies cracking down on a burglary bust ahead at 11:30. What led up to these arrests?